Have you ever wondered why smart people often seem unhappy? They look like they have everything. They understand things quickly, they think deeply, they solve problems, and yet they often appear hollow, tired, alone. Maybe you're one of them. Maybe you lie awake at night, replaying a conversation from 5 years ago. Maybe you understand exactly how everything works, and that's exactly what makes you feel stuck and powerless. Maybe you're not lost, just too aware. Maybe you're not weak, just too clear-headed. It's not a coincidence, and it's not a curse either. It's a profound philosophical explanation, born from the mind of one of history's clearest thinkers, Arthur Schopenhauer. Schopenhauer spent his life trying to answer one painful question: why do intelligent people suffer more? His belief was simple but deep. Life is driven by an inner force he called will, a constant craving, an endless push to have, to know, to become something other than what we are. This will never rests, and inside it hides suffering. Most people don't see it. They chase pleasures, avoid pain, without really knowing why. But intelligent people, they see the mechanism. They see the craving. They see the lack. They see that everything is fading, and they can't unsee it. The analytical mind is like a giant magnifying glass. It amplifies everything. Beauty, but also despair. What feels like a small disappointment to others feels like an existential void to you. What others experience as a simple pleasure is shadowed in your mind by the awareness that it will end. There's a story of an old monk who was once asked, "Why does it seem like the wise suffer more than the simple?" The monk replied, "Because the simple man lives in a house with one window, but the wise man lives in a tower of glass. Both are struck by the storm, but only one sees every lightning bolt from every direction." In other words, a deep mind can't avoid suffering because it sees more, and in that clarity, pain is born. Schopenhauer called this the oscillation of life, a constant movement between desire and boredom, between seeking and losing, until the inevitable end, death. But the real problem isn't just life itself. It's the mind that sees too much. A mind that searches for patterns and finds them even when you wish it wouldn't, anticipates pain and becomes paralyzed by fear, judges everything, others and yourself, can't rest because it keeps thinking, even when there's nothing left to think. It's a kind of prison, one that's invisible from the outside, because it's inside you. And that suffering comes in waves. 1. Invisible patterns. An ordinary person sees a breakup as an accident. You see a pattern, and you're afraid it'll repeat, so you stop starting anything new. 2. Moral sensitivity. You don't just understand what's right and wrong, you clearly see how the world runs on compromise, and it hurts, because you can't close your eyes, not to what others do, not to what you do. 3. The curse of seeing through everything. You can't watch a movie without noticing the manipulation. You can't listen to a sermon without sensing its limits. You can't believe anything without spotting the logical cracks. In the end, you're left alone, caught between two impossible choices. Either you censor yourself to connect with others, or you stay true to yourself and end up isolated. In a mountain village, a disciple once asked his master, "Is it better to speak the truth with others, or to hide it in silence?" The master showed him a bamboo flute. If you blow it while people sleep, they'll cast you out. If you hide it when they sing, you'll never play with them. But if you learn to let it rest in silence, there are times you'll be heard, even without playing a single note. Meaning, sometimes authenticity isn't about speaking, it's about knowing when to be silent, and when silence says it all. Schopenhauer called this the tyranny of consciousness. The mind doesn't stop, the will doesn't quiet down, and you get tired. But he didn't stop there. He offered ways out of the prison, small doors, but real ones. 1. Aesthetic contemplation. When you listen to music, when you look at a painting, when you read a poem without analyzing it, and simply feel, for a few moments the will disappears, the mind is quiet, and you rest. 2. Acceptance of limits. You can't change everything. You're not responsible for everything. You can understand a problem without needing to fix it. You can feel compassion without carrying all the pain of the world. 3. Compassionate understanding. Instead of judging, try to understand. We're all driven by the same impulses. When you see that, something softens inside you. It unravels, it quiets down. 4. Mental rest. Limit what you let into your mind. Fewer headlines, less noise, fewer battles that aren't yours. Make space for silence. Let your mind breathe. 5. Self-knowledge, not idea hoarding. You don't need to know everything. You need to know what hurts you, what drives you, what keeps you trapped. That's where the freedom lies. Schopenhauer didn't say that suffering is your fate. He said it comes from misusing our intelligence, and that, if we learn to think wisely, not just intensely, we can turn suffering into clarity and lucidity into peace. It's not about thinking less, it's about thinking better, with gentleness, with awareness, with peace. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to support me, you can subscribe to the channel. If anything you heard today felt close to home, leave a like, stay, listen, come back for more. At first, it was just me. Now, we are together. Here, you're not searching for crowds. You're searching for truths that rest well in silence. Until next time, I hope you'll find your way too.